What's up, guys? Welcome to the Hoop Portal. Tonight we are covering the Summer League debut of Cooper Flagg, also year two Bronny James. All in all, it was a pretty solid game, and I think a good start for many of us just to get back into basketball again. I think the main focal point of this is Cooper Flagg and his debut. But before we get into that, I think speaking on Bronny, it was good to see him out there. You can see he's way more confident in his second year and coming back into Summer League, probably after playing some of those G League games and getting a few games with the Lakers first team. Some of the reports was that he could potentially get rotational minutes again year two with the Lakers. I'm not sure if he's quite there yet, but all in all, it is good to see him having a solid, seeing just that confidence come back. And when you think about him being suffering from the cardiac arrest his first year of college, it is amazing just to see him on the court, regardless of how you feel about him. It's good to see that. It's good to see his confidence. I think Dalton Connect is another player with the Lakers. He got hurt towards the end of the game, but looks solid. You can see the talent, you can see the ability. I think he's a guy that really could actually be the rotational piece for the Lakers and a 3 and D player. He's got to improve on the defensive end. He's got to get more consistent shooting his shot. I'm sure too mentally there was a for those that know, he was involved in a trade for Mark Williams. The trade got rescinded, and so he was back on the Lakers. So there's this weird, 2 day period for him where the Lakers trade him. He comes back to the Lakers and he's supposed to just kind of fit in casually. I'm sure many of us would struggle in that situation, and I think that could have been potentially some of his struggles down the stretch. Hopefully he's okay and the injury isn't too bad and he's able to come back. But he is one that I think that could be good. Nimhard looked fantastic tonight, scoring over 20 points and hitting the three. That put them back over the top for the Mavericks to get the win towards the end. But you see the ability of a guard that can get to his spots. He can find the open teammates, and he just honestly looked really solid. He looked like the Mavs' best player tonight, which then takes us to Cooper Flagg. I think all in all, there was a rough start. He had a pretty bad miss to start the game. He had a really bad miss to finish the game, and I think there's a learning curve. There's a adjustment from honestly playing half of last year in a really down, really poor ACC, where a lot of his moves were gonna work. I think now he's gonna have to figure out, okay, there's more athleticism. There's quicker, stronger. These guys are just faster. These guys are better defenders. How am I going to be able to get my shot off? And things like that will come with time. I think the question mark with him and the Mavericks is how do they use him? I think if at parts of the time in the game tonight he's taking the ball in the half court set, they're trying to run him off a pick and roll, let him get by defenders, and I just don't think his ball handling is quite at that level yet. Now, it's something you can work on. LeBron had the same issue when he came in the league. But I think what you do see is when he is out in transition and he's got the ball in his hands and he is the decision maker, you can see the high basketball IQ. You can see the ability to find the open man, find the hot person, and to end the game too, which is something that, Nimhard did hit the shot. But Coop had a great block on the defensive end, outlet it to Nimhard, got it back to him. He was able to drive, draw the defenders, find the hot hand in Nimhard, hit the three, and win the game. So you still see that ability to make winning plays, even if his shooting is not great. I think he was 5 for 20 tonight, maybe 5 for 21 with that last shot. But all in all, I do really like him as a guard in transition. I just think you're starting to see it's way more difficult for him to break people down off the dribble with this talent. Now imagine when that gets ramped up in a couple of months and he's actually going against NBA players. I think the Mavs are a really good situation for him, but it is going to be interesting if Jason Kidd is going to try to utilize him on the ball like that. I think there were times in the game too where he had smaller defenders on him. You probably want to try to put him in the post, let him get to his spot, and just keep it simple. Hit a couple turnaround shots on Bronny. There's still a strength gap too that I think he's still just maturing and growing. And I think a lot of us have to remember he's still 18 years old. He's not that his body's not developed. His IQ is not completely developed. He's going to get better, and you understand and you can see this vision for the future and why this kid is touted as the way he is. I think you just got to put him in the right spots. All in all, though, again, made the play that led to the block, outlet, and assist for the game-winning shot. Um, and I think it's going to come down to whether or not. I think it's going to come down to how Jason Kidd decides to use him. He's going to be fine. We're not saying he's a bust. It's summer league. It's the first game. He probably hasn't played in a while. ESPN's definitely defending him. Okay, they're giving him an excuse. He hasn't played a game since April 6th. Most of these guys haven't played a game. Some of them even longer than that. So I don't think that's really an excuse, especially when you see a Cole Swider knock down shots and a Nim hard play at the ability that they're able to play at. But all in all, take it with a grain of salt. These early summer league games, they're not. There's no system in place. There's no we're running this specific set and this. It's just a lot of freelance pick and roll basketball and guys just trying to understand patterns and routines. And it does take time. I think as it continues, you should see the growth. I think that's the bigger piece. Where are these guys stalling out, or do they continue to get better and raise their game up? And then obviously at the end of the day, it's going to be which one of these guys are able to get on an NBA roster and actively participate with an NBA team for the season. But get in the comments, who do you think Cooper Flagg's player comp is? He's been compared to a lot of different people. There's been LeBron. There's been Russell Westbrook. There's been a lot. I think I'd be interested to see what you guys think. Let me know. Get in the comments. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Join the portal. Enter your name in the portal. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.